the code, so I was just sitting here waiting for it to get out of beta, and when it got into early access, I was like right on it. And then a fun thing happened. Like my friend won tickets to DreamHack, and he wanted to invite me, so I came with him on the one. Like I had one thing I wanted to do there, and that was to compete in the PUBG tournament, just for fun. And he had never touched the game before.
Oh, that's funny.
Ever. And he installed the game and agreed on it. And we went to DreamHack Summer. Yeah, DreamHack Summer. That's not the one that was, the one before that. And we got 5th place.
Well, there you go. That's pretty impressive.
And I was like, that was some like AMPR and Hollywood, I think it was, that was just ripping apart everyone. But like it was really fun to be there, and it's like maybe I have something to do, you know.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, it was cool. And after that I went to duos in Cologne under Gamescom with a friend. We got 7th place as best. And after that, I started up Spet Gaming. I took contact the Spet Gaming and asked them if I could start up a squad team. I did that for 1 year, and we did really good. I think our biggest time under that was the duo tournament on DreamHack Winter, half a year later after I started. And it just kept growing, and I joined Zoekt Een Naam like 8-9 months ago, and been farming and trying. I started as a fragger, took over as IGL.
Who were your team? Who were your teammates back when you joined in Zoekt Een Naam?
It was me, the Uncharged, Arky, and Vasco. Okay. So it's been. We're 3 of us has been there for a while.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go into, because the next point on the agenda, if you can say that, is the team history. And of course, it's kind of limited when you're talking team history in PUBG, because, well, I mean, the competitive aspect of the game has pretty much only, if you go way back to the first tournament, it's been 1.5 years. But if you go actual competitive squads, then it's like a little over a year, I would say.
A little over a year, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of limited how much team history there can be. But anyway, I mean, you talk a little bit about. You don't have to talk about the team before you joined, but you've been through a couple of different players and like how things were and how things are now.
Yeah, I kind of wanna. I should like Zoekt Een Naam is like it's not a very English word, is it, or a name? It began with 4 people, Dutch people, as friends, and then they kind of found out there were some of the players that was really good, and some people didn't have the time to commit, so they some people left and some people kept going. So like Bruder is maybe the most known Zoekt Een Naam player that was from the former or the starter lineup. And yeah, he also stepped down, and that's when Uncharged took over, and I came in right after that.
And where did you know Uncharged from?
I didn't know them. I stepped out of Spet Gaming because we had some different opinions, and I kind of wanted to go more international. I felt like I had to. That was the thing I had to do to get, out and do better. So Zoekt Een Naam actually picked me up.
Oh, there you go.
Did like I just called out for, Twitter free agent.
Yeah. So that actually works.
That actually works for some. I might have been lucky.
Yeah, no disrespect intended. You just see, I mean, I guess it comes kind of in waves, right? But you see so many. It's just you feel bad for when maybe not on one day, but maybe over a week. You see like 7 or 8 different, hey, I'm a free agent now, please retweet. When you hit that number 8 or 9 guy, and I mean, I personally, I try to retweet all of them because I want all the guys in the scene to get spotlighted as much as they can. But you gotta feel bad for number XXX, where, I mean, it's just kind of unfortunate. No, these days there are a ton of free agents as well. So good thing for you that you're not in that whole endeavor anymore.
I don't think I did. I think I did it before it was popular. I was about to say, but
Ooh, trendsetter! I like it.
nah, but I think I did it in between some seasons, and people is like, maybe someone was, looking for one player, and I'm really
You
happy
timed
about
it
where
right.
I
Let's put it
ended.
that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was also lucky, you could say.
Well, of course. There's always a bit of
It's always a
of
bit
luck.
of luck.
It's PUBG, you know. There's always a bit of luck involved. But
Yeah.
but nonetheless, you got onto Zoekt Een Naam, and you've been there ever since. And you said what, 8 or 9 months? We're talking about the scene having only existed for X while. That's a long time to have been part of the same team.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive.
Time flies,
Yeah.
But we also had some changes. When I started, we had Uncharge, as I said, and he was IGL back then. I kind of I even got the question when I joined the team if I wanted to IGL,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I was at the point where I've been IGLing for Spet Gaming 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, I wanted to try the Fragger now. Like, I kind of wanted to do that and just, you know, there's some sort of stress and a lot of pressure on, or I put a lot of pressure on myself as an IGL.
Mm-hmm.
Then I felt like Fragger was gonna be a bit easier on me. I guess.
Yeah, it's that you don't have to have like the overall. I mean, you do always, of course, but you're not the one in charge of making all the
Exactly.
decisions. Yeah.
And I didn't know all the guys, right? So I
Mm.
was like, I'm trying out for you guys. I mean, I could do it, I said, but I'll rather do fragging. And then Uncharged, he got an offer he couldn't say no to in real life for work and studies. So we started trying out people, and I was like, there was not many IGLs around
Mm.
by then, like free agents that was like we were really interested in. So it's like at the end it was like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. Because we tried out people IGLing, and sometimes it worked a bit, and then it was like, nah, it's not great. And then Arki said, why won't you try IGLing and we'll try out some fraggers instead? And yeah.
So in that aspect of things, how do you feel? I mean, one thing is when you were, I don't want to say just a fragger, but when you were playing to how the team is now, do you still play around the same, what can you say, concepts, or have you taken the team in a different direction as to how it was when you first joined it?
I mean, I think every IGL they make it their own team, like you have, like I paint a lot of what we do in the team. Like my thoughts is also what's gonna be the end result, right?
Mm.
But I also want, like, that's always been a big part of me, is that I want everyone to feel like a ownership of the things we do. So I want, like, I would say, what do you think about this call? What do you think? Like, even though you shouldn't question it, sometimes I just say, let's do this.
Mm.
Like, sometimes you just have to do that. But if I have time, what do you think about this option?
Makes
And then
sense.
sometimes one of the players say, why won't you just do this? You do that, but just you tweak it a little bit, like go one guy here, and then it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. And then, because then also the players would feel more invested in the call and be more of, they would have something to say.
Makes sense. So if you were to put, let's put Zoekt Een Naam on a scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is, I want to say, M19 during GLL Season 2 finals, where if you can avoid a fight, you'll avoid it, and even if you can't avoid it, you'll try to avoid it anyway. Not that that's exactly what they did, but like extremely passive. And 10 is, we probably shouldn't take this fight, but we're going to because there are people and we want to kill them. Where do you put Zoekt Een Naam and the way that you play, like on a scale?
I'll put them in the middle, I think. Like, Uh, I'm all about doing the smart things. Like sometimes but every situation has a different aspect of it, right?
Obviously, obviously, obviously.
It's PUBG. It's never the same, right?
Hmm.
So you always try to be smart about what you do,
Yeah, makes sense.
and sometimes the smart thing to do is be aggressive, take the fight, third party this. Like you wanna minimize your own risk as
Hmm.
well, getting high rewards, right?
Makes sense.
So I think I don't think we have a set like play style. I think that's some of the things we do good is like we adapt
Mm-hmm.
to everything.
Adapt. Hashtag
Adapt.
adapt.
Like
There you
we're
go. No, but I mean, it's true. It's true. You have to. In Danish, we have omstillingsparat. That's a nice word. I think adapt is probably the closest you'll get to it. Like you have to constantly be ready to change
change your
your
plan.
strategy according to what happens around you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the people that are the better at that normally are also, at least in PUBG, are the ones that get out on top. You can get too tunnel visioned on having one strategy, and you can only use that one strategy. And then once it fails, or if it fails, then you don't know what to do because oh no, now everything we worked for is falling apart. So being able to change up things makes good sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Also,
And like
you've. Oh no, sorry. Continue.
we were also the one and only team that qualified for both the PAL qualifiers and the PCL
Mm-hmm.
qualifiers, like
Mm-hmm.
from the open. So I think that's kind of says what we've been like. Like of course we've been lucky with some of the runs, and that's something you have to be as well. But you, I think that kind of shows that we're doing that thing good because like everyone knows how open qualifiers is.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
it's a
it's
mess.
it's a mess. That's a polite way of putting it. It's a mess.
Yeah.
No, but going into the team and you guys went to PL, played the qualifiers there. Congratulations on making it that far. I mean, it's always when you're a team that doesn't make it into the pro league after all, like after all that effort put into it, you always come off of it with I mean, I say this, but I have never been in that situation. But that's just what I hear from people. You always come off of it as if you lost. But then think
Yeah.
about how much you won in order to get there, right? It's kind of it's pretty impressive. So congrats on that. But of course, we all know you guys didn't manage to get into at least not this time around into the phase 1 of Pro League, but you have made it to contenders. And some of the games we'll be looking at today are some of the make and break games for you in that aspect of things. But before we go into the game analysis itself, I'm just curious because you've been through a couple of different players and the lineup you have now. You added Page not too long ago. How does he fit into the Zoekt Een Naam sort of thinking or play style? Like why him?
I'll kind of go through like all of them that we've been through
Mm-hmm.
because like we had Hayes
Mm-hmm.
and he was a strong analytical player and support player,
Mm-hmm.
but he just came short at some points of the game where we had to be maybe a bit faster. I really love that guy, but that was kind of. And then after him we had Gutastic, which fit the team really well in the start. And then we kind of he's always been an IGL kind of type, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had that part of him all the way. And in the end, it just me and him having different opinions on how we played out. That this just didn't fit anymore, right?
No. You cannot have two chefs in the kitchen.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then it was like we went into the PCL qualifier like, what do we do now? Because we don't have Fantastic. We're obviously only 3 guys. And it was like we could try to find a free agent now
Mm-hmm.
and try to make him fit into the team in 5 days.
Yeah, that's
But
gonna be
in what world is that gonna happen, right?
yeah.
So we had obviously we had like then Arky said like, why don't we just use Stingo? He's been part of the team before you, Ivo,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously he knows a bit of the game and is a strong fragger. So like, yeah, that's a great idea. We'll use him as a sub, and and it worked. Like we went through it, and it was amazing to see how the team worked out in the end. And we kind of, of course, we had a lot of weight on us because after the PEL qualifiers, it was like really, it was a hit to
Well, yeah, of
the
course, you
motivation.
didn't
And
get it all the way there.
like
Yeah,
we
of
were
course.
the first team to go out, right? We were 9th place, 17th place overall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we had a lot of, yeah, it was rough then, but it was like, yeah, we can do this. Like we had to do it.
Mm.
And then we were thinking that if we make it with the sub, we can trade him out with one of the teams that doesn't make it, because there's always some team that doesn't make it in the open,
Yeah.
and that might split. That's motivated and that's been playing the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not gonna talk down free agents, but some of them lack. There's a reason why they're free agents, and that's like we've tried a lot of free agents, and it just every time it felt like there was something that they didn't have, or like of course you have team that works out, and then like look at Rye for example with Fast Rail, Cup of Magic, Wanted, and Maverick. They did amazing, and I think, but that shows how, yeah,
No, but I mean, I see, I kind of get what you're saying. That I mean, it's a fast evolving game, and if you're not out, because of course, as you said yourself, they're playing mixed teams and stuff. But if you're not part of that team synergy for a while, and then getting back into it, and if you're in a situation where you need a guy like now, then it can be tricky to sort of have to build that thing up again, as opposed to finding someone who just came out and boom, you can just toss him back in pretty easily.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. And then it's like, then we're like, yeah, we'll pick up one from a team, and there was a lot of people that was wanted to join us, of course, because we just made PCR, we had open slots, so we
Yeah.
had like 50 people, but we just had to lower it down the numbers, and we kind of ended up on Page in the end, because he's looking at how the point system is gonna be, and how it's like aggressive plays is gonna be the way to go, I think, in the new season.
It's gonna be interesting to see how people are gonna be playing with the point system. Yeah.
So Page felt like the right fit for a team. He's a really strong fry. He has a good and great mindset. And when he tried out for us, the first day he tried out for us, it felt like he had been on our team for 3 months already.
Well, there you go. That's what you want to have, right?
And yeah, I can't talk. He's just so good. He just fits in every way, and it's real. I'm really happy about that.
That's perfect. Congratulations on having found the fit. But now going into some what do you say? Let's see. There we go, and there we go. We're going into some game analysis. We're going to be looking over 3 games. One of which you win, 2 of which you don't, but you make it far, and I don't think necessarily that, because coming down to the very final circles, of course, the better teams will win most of the time, but I mean, you can have unfortunate hardships away from you, and you can be in, as you said yourself, it's PUBG, there are billion factors that come into play, and these are just 3 of the games where that we talked about that we think will give the best, what can you say, showcase of the of what you guys do and what you like to do. So this is one of the games. I believe it's the first day. No, that cannot be true. The second day of PEL, the LAN qualifiers, in Minsk.
Second or third day, I don't remember.
So you guys go Pachinki. Anything you want to say in that regard, other than the fact that it's probably the best place to do it?
No, it's our town, you know. It's a Sen City, like we like to call it.
Do you go there always, even if you're in a lobby against a team you know like to go there as well? Would you want to go there anyway?
Yeah, we would. Like, we won't give up our town.
Okay, so you would contest it even if you saw another team go with you?
Yeah.
Did you do that throughout the online qualifiers also?
I think no, because open qualifiers is something else than playing against set teams. Like we would sometimes jump there, but and when we could, we would. But then it would be like, okay, if we had two teams trying to contest us, then why would we risk losing 2-3 people in the start and then, you know?
Makes sense. So you go Pachinki, pretty straightforward. You'll land, you'll get looted. Not a whole lot to talk about. Circle pubs. You as an IGL, this is where it gets interesting. You as an IGL, you see this northeastern circle. Do you, on a scale from 1 to 10, where 10 is the worst shit show circle in the universe, how do you rate this kind of circle for you as a Pachinki team?
This circle.
You like it, okay? So it's a good circle. So what do you see immediately, as far as what do you have available and what you want to do?
Of course, we've done some research, so we know where team jumps. We know that where Alliance, TSM, Just Nice taken, Stauber's taken, Severny's taken. You know, we kind of know where, and there's also 2 teams north of us. So the only way we can rotate here is east and over potato.
Would you go north around or south around?
North around.
Just north around. Yeah.
Farm mistaken.
Yeah. So you go north around.
And then we would try to find a position, right, for where we could scout and get info. But we won't go early in this circle. Sometimes we would, but you know.
That also depends on how fast. Yeah, what loot do you get off with early on and stuff like that.
So we'll kind of loot until we feel comfortable enough to move in, and then we'll just send it and try to scout in and find the good positions for info.
Do you always rotate as 4 in the first rotation? So do you like to send one early on, like by himself, to kind of go in and scout on?
It depends. It depends on the circle.
Okay.
And yeah.
So you rotate up, pretty obvious. You go to the hills here, look one forward, continue further, and then you commit to like. Is this a, what do you say? Not a prio compound, but is this like a first pick compound for you guys to go to? If you have a circle like this, would this be the spot you want to go? Is that first priority, or would there have been a place you would rather go, but you didn't get it? Kind of.
We'll go for it because volcanoes are really popular. And
you see, already jokers are there.
Second option is always to, like, taking the second options for other teams is good as a first priority for us.
Makes sense. So you go to what we call liquid compound. Now it's obviously Zoekt Een Naam compound in this game.
Of course.
And the circle starts shrinking on in. Not a whole lot to it. What do you do here? You're sitting in the corner of the circle. And this is where I like to sort of get into the head of an IGL, because you're inside the circle, sure, but you're not guaranteed anything in circle 1. What is your job, you feel like, as an IGL once you get this compound in circle 1? You're sitting not centered, but well, pretty centered. But what do you do now, pretty much, while you're waiting for the circle to close in?
You get greedy.
Is that what you do?
Like you get greedy for information. That's what you do. You don't want to take the fights. You wanna save your gear. You wanna save your meds. You wanna save everything. Like if you get to shoot at transitions, of course do it. But you wanna try to get the high pro. Like you wanna get, by greedy I mean you wanna get deeper into the zone. If you can.
Yeah.
With as low risk as possible, right?
So from here, what would you scout? Like where would be the next go-to place to go from here?
Heaven, of course.
Which is over here, for those people who don't know. Or backflip hill, whatever you want to call it. The one with a very steep curvature that you can do double backflips on. So you would go up on the little ridge line up here, and then try to kind of scout over in this direction.
Yeah.
Are you aware at this point that C9 has made his way up to yellows?
I think with the...
I mean, you must have heard the bike, right? You would assume,
at least. I think we heard the bike. You see people on the hill as well. Like.
Yeah. So you know that there's someone over there. More people coming in. And you sent Eki. Is he normally the first guy to go? Is he the first rotator?
I think we all have that role, but Ark
Okay.
is usually the guy to do it.
Okay, so you send him up. He calls it clear. And as soon as you leave, fortunately, you have Fenerbahce coming up right behind you. But you get out of dodge and you get into backflip. And then from here, what? Is it the same thing then? I mean, obviously you're going to sit and wait for next circle, but do you... What now? You know for a fact that the compound you left is taken. Yellows are taken as well. So you cannot really go more center from where you are. I mean, you could, but you would have to fight for it, right? What do you do now then in a situation where you're not looking to go elsewhere? What is your
I think this game, I think we actually send 2 guys back towards the compound because we get greedy because we want to have more ground.
So you and Eki go back to the dip. That's a good dip down and around here.
Yeah, and we just chill here. We have control of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And people usually don't crash at second circle.
At least not very often. No, that's true. So what do you as an IGL, like, what do you call to your teammates to do other than just sort of turret, sit around and look for what's happening around you? What's the strategy here?
The strategy is just to hold safe.
Get info.
And, get info, hold out people. Don't overextend.
Makes sense. So you sit around.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like, you want to save, you save as much as you can in the early, especially in the V3 settings, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Because taking a fight and you lose your vest and you have a disadvantage in the next circle.
Exactly. So you get good control there. Boom, new circle pops. And you can see, this is what I like to show the guys in the chat. It's pretty much before it pops, really, that you start the rotation. You see, you're already going to the bike. As soon as it hits, has the info come in that if this circle should shift back east, you would go back to them? So this is like the temporary spot. So if it goes west, you can send them over. But if it goes east, you'll swing back. Is that the kind of the play you're going for? Okay, so immediately as it pops, boom, you can see you're pretty much already moving before it pops. So you'll go back. Now you are, probably in the best compound in the entire circle. But that, of course, also means that for the teams that aren't in a good spot, we're talking Penta, they just lost they had a 3-way split. Sure, they still have Alamo in, but they just lost 2 of their 3 compounds. Avantgar out, TSM out, G2 out. I mean, all these people out that could be potential threats of crashing because you're so center, right?
Yep.
So
that's also why you want to group up and make a force.
Exactly. So you go 4 guys together in the compound. You have Penta sitting down here. You saw shots fired before, so you must know that there are people in Alamo at this point, you would think at least.
Roscoe is kind of set on to hold them out, try to hurt them.
Yeah, and again, these games are almost a month ago. So, if not longer, actually. Wasn't it in December? Oh, I'm confused.
This is December.
Yeah, so it's over a month ago. So remembering like the specifics, I'm not expecting that. I just like to go through these games so we can get like a idea of the thought process behind what you guys do. So you sit here, you try to set yourself, hold everything or everyone off. Nobody's really rotating right now. Penta, they're sitting on the southern side. Avantgarde, they have the dip and the hillside. I think everyone is just sitting right now waiting and saying, please give us a hard shift. Please give us a hard shift. And you guys are like, we don't care because we're going to be like 90% of the chance we're going to be somewhat inside the circle. That's the good thing about getting center, like circle 4-5, because then when you have that 6th shift, you have to be extremely... I mean, I think, honestly, in this circle, you could probably be out if it hard shifted north, but other than that, you will be in, at least to a certain extent, like be just inside the circle, probably 80 or 90% of the time. So let's see where it goes. Boom. Now, from before... Had it gone anywhere further west, leaving in the dip up here, leaving in the tree line here, you guys would have been safe. But now you have potentially 5 teams that could come crashing in. Of course, that's most likely not going to happen. But as you see this circle as an IGL, you know there are teams in Alamo. You've heard the shot exchange down here. How do you prep your team for a potential push in this situation?
We reinforced the highest possibility of where people could come.
And where is that for you as Nigel? I mean, you cannot see this. You cannot see this, of course. But you know it's south. Yeah.
Hardship side.
You know it's south. So you want to reinforce the line up here, which is what you do. You run up there immediately, and correctly so. Penta rolls up on the dip just down the hill as soon as you run up. So good timing on that. You come up. Penta, they pull up here. This is a fun place to fight because there's such a big height difference that you cannot peek over really, but they cannot see you either. So did you just nade them like crazy, or?
I think I threw like 3 nades down that.
Yeah.
They had smoked it off though, so we couldn't see anything. We didn't know if we hit anything either.
Yeah. So you nade like crazy people down there, and then
I send Kutasic back when I feel like we had control of the situation.
Okay, so you got 2 knocks pretty quickly. I think it's Braxco and which is the second one that went down? Kane? Yeah, Kane and Braxco goes down.
Already was dead actually.
Okay, so either way, they're down to 2 players, and you see Kotastic goes back. But then as soon as that happens, you actually get the flush on the Penta guys. But look what happens immediately after. And I don't know, I mean, sometimes in PUBG, you just have the situation where you're insanely unlucky, and sometimes in PUBG it's well coordinated. So nonetheless, Avantgarde sitting down here, you can see they're already ready on their rotations. I don't know if they hear you guys fighting. They must have, I would assume.
They 100% did.
So they commit to that one off of that, and you get kind of caught off guard out here outside the houses because you'd been containing the dip, and now they come up on the other side, and the compound here cannot see it, and you just send Kotastic back in the exact same second. And then when you go down now, how does your role change from being alive and in-game to try and do you sort of just not lean back, but do you sort of step back and let the players alive do the rest, or do you try to call off of being able to see everyone's screens? Not only this game, but just in general.
Now I'm gonna do the most important job right now, and that's to make the team. Like, I'm gonna be the guy who gives the information around. Like, I would sit and page up, page down on my keyboard to kind of see what everyone is seeing, and then I would just spit out information and what people should do.
Okay.
Like, for example, Kutasic, you hold this, you hold that angle. Vask, you go back. Arky, go there. Just micromanagement.
Makes sense.
It makes it so much easier. Like, if you're dead, it sounds weird, but if you're dead, it gets so much easier because then you know exactly what the players are looking at.
Makes sense. So nonetheless, 4-man strong Avantgarde pulls up at the compound. We'll just slow it down a little, and then they go down, they take the dip, they probably get themselves some more loot, and then you send the guys up to Kotastic. That makes perfect sense. You don't want to be
closer to the circle center. Of course, you're in a full fight at the moment.
Yeah. So they are up here. Now the North hardship finally comes. Again, you're still in, but barely. And then we see, I mean, you gotta compliment Avantgarde for what they do here. They realize we cannot fight through Glasshouse. I think they're all sitting on the backside of the 1-story with the Aspirin up on the whatever it is, container and oil cans and stuff. And I think what they do is they push around, right?
Yeah.
Like they run underneath and around. You see Jokers, they just went up on the northern side, so there's a dip here they cannot see down towards Avantgarde. So Avantgarde can push around. They actually do finish off one player there. And now they get control around you. And I guess this is kind of where it fucks you guys over.
Yeah, we get but
because you get trapped inside Glasshouse.
Because we can't really give away the high ground either, right? Well, if we did that push ourselves, we would also in my mind that was too much of a risk because we heard people. We knew there was people east as well fighting.
Yeah. So in hindsight, it's always nice to get that teleport back in time opportunity. Had you at this point, you go down, Avantgarde are pushing in. You see the circle. Right now, had you had the chance to call anything differently, would you have?
I wouldn't, I think.
So this is just the play you would have gone with 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
Stay
I
and play it
think
safe.
so. It's like we don't have vehicles, we have nothing to leave with, and running in the open.
All your cars were up here, right?
Yeah, I think we had maybe one car, but like putting yourself in a car when there's 4 people outside your compound, it's not really gonna work, is it?
Okay, nope, true. It's actually at least gonna make it very difficult for you to get anywhere. So
Then this Gamers Legion came as well. It was like, what's happening? Like they were fighting. Avantgarde and Gamer Legion was fighting, and we're like, now we just try to throw smokes down, try to stall time, get placement.
So you have 4 teams up here in the dips. You guys are stuck on the southern side, and you don't get the hard shift down towards your next circle. And then, of course, getting the leave off is going to be difficult. Vasco gets a knock on 1. He goes down immediately after. Aki goes down from Siphon, and then Cut gets caught off in the
blue.
Not a whole lot more to it than that, but this is, I mean, this is, whoops. There you go. This is kind of, it still gives a good insight to how, like, how you, what do you say? How you go about the decision making. We have one more example of something similar. Let me just scroll all the way down. Now, do you want to take the Miramar game, or do you want to take the Erangel game? Because I think we only have time for one more.
Just take the
what?
Take the barn.
Okay. We'll take this one. Yep, that's your call. Your call. There we go. So, Northern Circle, perfect for Pochinki. This is the same tournament, by the way, guys, if you weren't aware. This time around, Southern Circle. Same question as before. Yeah. Is this a good circle or bad circle?
This is bad circle.
Is it worse than the Northern one?
Yeah.
How come?
More concentrated. Like, there's so much, like, the water.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if it's gonna shift south or north.
Mm-hmm.
Like from IGL perspective, there's no really good call to make here. Like you could obviously go for Milta and hold the bridge and blah blah blah, but
you know there are already teams.
It's not gonna happen when there's 3 teams already.
Yeah.
Around that place, right?
Makes sense. So, with that in mind, you guys anyway do make your first rotation at some point.
Yeah,
you're close to the circle
on this one because we know that the circle is gonna be clusterfuck.
Yeah. So when you do rotate, your first move is gonna go up to Pochinki. What do you call this hill? I just want to know because I have heard so many calls for these two. This is Pochinki Hill and this is Cloud9 or Tindergold or whatever. But I've also heard Pochinki 1, Pochinki 2, and I mean there are so many different calls for the same things. We
call it Kill Hill.
Kill Hill?
Yeah. Because
everybody gets killed.
Yeah, there's rotations there all the time.
Kill Hill. Let's go get free ADR Hill.
No, but that's a Kill Hill for me at least, and the other one is Pochinki Hill.
Do you have multiple Kill Hills in the game, or is that just Kill Hill?
I have one further south as well.
Okay, but we'll look at that. And is that this one? Kill Hill. We'll yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about that some other time. Anyway, you go to Kill Hill. Let's call it that from now on, so there's no confusion. You go to Kill Hill, and obviously try to scout further inside the circle. You get the kill on BSD, and that's one of the players from Fenerbahce taken down. And then what from here? Because it's kind of limited what you can see, right? You have the forest line here preventing you from seeing really far. And what's the play to make? Do you want to go north in a circle like this, or do you want to try and swoop underneath?
We want to go north again.
Okay. So you're expecting the northern shift? Or what? Or at least hoping for it, I guess you can say.
We're hoping for it. But we're also, like, the reason why we're positioning us here is that we're going to go, if it shifts south towards military, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go on the west.
Yeah, you can take it over the other bridge. Makes perfect sense. So circle does come closing, and you actually go down to you send 2 guys down to double barns.
Yeah.
Is that just to get more info, or to get more kills, or
to get more kills?
So this is kill compound and kill hill.
No, that's barns. but this is only to hold out people.
Okay.
Like put pressure on other teams.
Makes sense. So
maybe get some free points.
Yeah, well, obviously you 2-2 split it. New circle
and then
pops.
You see the circle pop.
And then what's the immediate call once it pops?
You see go north. Like,
Do you want to go all the way over Pachinki? Over Potato?
not all
or
the way. We go up like halfway, I think,
So you want
and
to
then
stop
we
on the dip?
start scouting. We start scouting here. That's like we do the frog leap, like we call it.
Like jump from one scout spot to another.
Scout, move, scout, move, scout, move.
So what's the jump from here? Where do you go next? I mean, it doesn't have to be in this specific game. Just what
as
depending.
center as possible.
Okay, so you want to kind of bird's line at least make it that direction in.
Yeah.
So you go up, you scout further forward, you go down to the 1-story and the or the yellow house and the garage. I guess you scout 3, like the 3 stack, right? Yep, go up there. What are you doing?
What did IVEL do?
What did I've at least scouted 1-story in the blue because there was something down there that was interesting.
There's an airdrop down there.
Are you sure about that, IVEL? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, it's an airdrop.
It's like the entire team goes, wait, where did IVEL go? Okay, so IVEL gets this airdrop.
It was called out like that airdrop landed like 3 minutes before this.
Okay, so when the team drives in, you go out to try and secure the airdrop. Fortunately, the 4-man strong G2 don't get an angle on you. That's pretty lucky. That's pretty lucky, and you do manage to get back to your teammates with the dash. Yeah. Now from here, again, it's a good compound, but it can be hard to scout from. You can see obviously back where you came from, and you can. It's kind of hard to see uphill because it goes very steep once you go over here. And the same thing in this direction, you have so many trees down the hill here that it can become kind of hard to scout south. So what do you do from this compound?
We start to become more greedy, I think, like for info. We wanna secure as much ground as we can. And like you're still waiting for the circle to hit, right? You see, I'm already in the car ready to move. And we kind of knew that compound was free, so I went directly down for it to just hold it out. Because if I got crashed, I would have people support me from high ground.
True. It's pretty hard to see though down here, isn't it? I mean, you have trees around, so
I would try to give the info and play as loud as I could when I was down there.
Makes sense. So you get down to the compound. You're now in a 3-1 split. And I guess right now it's back to what we saw in, what am I trying to say? In the Heaven game as well, that you try to make as much space as you can by, well, pretty much shooting at everyone. As you said yourself, make you as big as possible. Shoot at everyone that comes close, right? Yeah.
It's like you just hold down at this point, right? You just wait for circle to, because there's a lot of water in the circle.
And it has to shift away from it.
And it has to shift away from water, so you just wait.
So you can go pretty much anywhere up here.
Yeah.
New circle pops. Still in? What is your call here? Like, you're still in, but you're... Well, I mean, obviously being this far out on the edge is not a priority spot, but you could still get a hard shift towards you or something. But would you want to give up this at this point? I mean, again, it doesn't matter if you say yes and then you don't do it this game. It's just looking at this game from an in-game leader's perspective. Do you want to give up this already to try and go further?
Away.
No.
You don't want to give it away.
So you keep you want to keep your 2-2 or 1-3 split?
If you see it like I knew that the west compound of where I am was free because there was no one shooting or moving or making any sound. So I knew there was no one gonna come from the west, maybe from southwest down at Barnes, but most likely not. If there was someone to come, we had one guy ready to move. But then on the east side, we always know that Penta always went for farm. They will always do that. Penta strat was to hold farm with 2 guys on each side. So we knew they had to come around, and there's obviously a lot of ground that's not in here. So the biggest move are gonna be on that side. So we're just gonna hold for now. We're not gonna move too much, I think.
Okay. You're sitting and holding.
You don't want to be too you don't want to be greedy either or risk it.
No, makes sense.
Winning the game gives more points than getting 2-3 kills.
Obviously. So new cycle pops. You're in. Smart play. I mean, only obvious play really is to send the team over to the split that's in. So I assume that's what happens. Aggie and Cut stays though.
Yes.
Is that to make sure that the bag is clear?
That's to hold out everything that comes from high ground.
Okay. So they stay to sort of just make sure that
they put more pressure on G2 at this point. And then when the zone is about to hit them, that's when they push
leave.
down.
Makes sense. At this point, you're in a pretty good spot. I mean, you're on the edge, sure, but you have a good chance to run in. You have plenty of vision. I mean, that being, of course, if you can get up on the hill to spot down this way. And all these teams inside, some call it snake, some call it zigzag, some call it S, whatever you want to call the compound.
Snake.
Yeah, but this area here, they're so busy fighting each other that they can't really spend too much time looking, well, pretty much anywhere outwards. New circle pops and you're out. What? And let's see, you get the shack, the only cover remaining. This is actually, I was gonna say this is a wooden shack, right? But that's this one. This is a normal shack.
The wooden shack is not one.
Yeah, this is a normal shack.
What we do here is Meek-tastic. We hold everyone that puts pressure
the sides
on the Ark and Vasco when they move. So if someone is starting blasting them, right? If we blasted there with 4 people, right?
So you actually ran up earlier. You see, you guys running up earlier,
getting info here,
and then you try to sort of hold off the sides, and then as
they
take
pressure on, for example, OHM, which can see the shack from the windows.
Yeah. So they come up with the cars, and all of a sudden, it's their job to hold off while you guys make the move up to the compound. So it's smart 2-2, not split, but move. That will in the end make sure that all 4 of you guys get inside the circle safely. New circle, no shack left for you. And then interesting things happen. I remember. All of a sudden, I don't see Vasco alive anymore.
Yes. Misplay by
alive? Not alive. Yeah, I mean it's
like the call is I'm gonna blow up the car, and Vasco doesn't move. And then the cars get blown up. So it's like a
50-50 split misplay.
Yeah.
So he doesn't react to it. Maybe I mean, it's kind of heat of the moment, right? Shots fired everywhere, and
here, we're getting pushed. Like Jokers, Avangar, and OGM is shooting at us at this point.
So unfortunately, Vasco takes some friendly fire and goes down in flames as the vehicle explodes. That's what happens, of course. And then you take the vehicle to move on. And where do you want to?
Yeah.
Well, you die. But where were you intending to go? Did you want to crash the backside of the compound, or?
I want to crash the compound, yes, under it, while those 2 guys held me.
And I assume that the vehicle didn't have too much HP since it blew up pretty much as soon as you got in it.
I got blasted before. I even smoked it, but they heard the sound.
And they just started spraying like crazy people.
G2, I think, started shooting at it. So
from the top side.
I didn't expect that, and there's also one of those heat in the moment. It was not the best call to do that.
No, I mean, yeah. That's what happens.
In hindsight, it would have been better to just push us 3 on foot.
But you would rather go up here than try and push around and make it up the hill to the compound?
Yeah, like the south side of that is too open for the whole compound south. So we kind of just went for the safest, because there are only we were 3 guys left there, and it's like we want to fight out the teams we have to, and we knew that G2 had to push in as well, so it was gonna become a fight there eventually.
Makes sense. So Cut and Aki try to push over. They stay alive for a little while. Fight comes in. Cut goes down. Aki tries to stay put. He actually gets the elimination on 2 teams here.
Yeah.
Important placement points. Well, I guess he only kills 1 because looks like Anto kills off G2 and then he kills off Anto. 2 placements better. I believe he goes down to blue, right? Yeah. But second place still. I mean, that's that's third.
Fourth place.
4th?
Yeah, there's a guy sitting in the shack on the side of the compound.
Jokers?
7 and
7. Avangar. Oh, I can count. That's me who's 2 + 1 gives 3. 3 + 1 gives 4. But still 3rd place. I mean, if again, this is consistent. Of course, you didn't fight too much at any point in the game, really, but you, through proper rotations and playing off of the info that you had, got to a third place. And then sure, you didn't get kill points. What did you get that game in kills? A couple, I think. The rotation early on and stuff. Maybe like 2 or 3 kills, but that doesn't really matter. You still got a third place, which is like outweighs the kills by quite a heavy margin. Or fourth place, but yeah, still. And that's what you talked about early on. The thing that it's much more important to you to do the smart play, right?
Yeah.
And you tried to go aggressive with the pull up on the compound, didn't work, you got blown up. Had you had Vasco alive there, being 4 alive behind the building would probably have changed your ability to run off. You had more time to smoke, you had more people up and alive, and that, of course, I mean, that's the heat of the moment. Things do happen. But
I mean, we're not perfect in any way.
I was gonna BM you there, but I didn't. But no, that's no, that's perfect fine. I hope that for you viewers, it gave you some sort of an insight in Zoekt Een Naam and in IVEL and in how they like to do things. And now to finish off everything here, because we have hit almost the 1 hour mark, I will do put this one up. There we go. And start a short, but hopefully informative Twitch Q&A. So should you have any questions for IVEL, please do fire away. Clever questions are preferred, but I see people in the chat that might have questions that aren't that clever, looking at people that are mods in particular. But if you guys have anything you want to ask now that you have an IGL here, then fire away. Agaleep comes up with the first question: how does Zoekt Een Naam feel about the new rule set?
I think we feel really confident about the new rule set. It's a lot about. It's a really kill heavy in my mind, and I think it's gonna form, like, in the start I was not too big fan of it because I think this game is a survival game. That's only my opinion, not the whole scene.
You are Zoekt Een Naam, didn't you know that?
I am. But yeah, I think this is a survival game, and that's their way to make it more entertaining in some sort. But you kind of just have to wait, I guess, until the rules that are set.
Obviously.
Alive, I know. And then you'll see how the scene takes it, and how, because we just have to play around it, you know.
Makes sense.
But I'm looking at my lineup now, with a newest member, and how Arki and Vasku are some of the stronger fragger I know about. I'm feeling very confident about how it's gonna be.
There you go. Confidence, the best word in all of PUBG, used here as well. So Dancy has a question. We're just skipping through some of them. When will Zoekt Een Naam get picked up? I have a prediction myself, but I want to hear what you have to say about that. Because I
don't know. I haven't.
You don't know.
I don't know.
No, I would say for Pro League Phase 2, but that's just me being being positive.
I think we have to.
We have to. That's that's the goal, right? Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, we want, like, we're looking. I hope we're gonna get picked up soon, because I think the guys deserve it.
Yeah.
With all the work they put into it.
Akleep has one more question. How do you rank yourself in the PCL?
That's a good question.
Like, knowing what teams you're up against, we can say in thirds: the bottom third, middle third, or top third. Top third.
Yeah, I'm that confident.
No, that's cool. That's cool. You have to be. That's good.
Because I really believe, and I've never been this motivated with the lineup I have right now. Is the way they push hours. They push themselves every day to become better. It's yeah, I'm really I'm humble about it, but I I don't know. It just feels so good right now.
Hmm.
And I'm really looking forward to try to put it into the competitive, but of course you'll have to see how the scene forms after the rule set is set, and you know.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Broxar has a question. So, IVEL, I have noticed that you are always, and I guess it's not completely right with always, but most of the time, the first person rotating on the team. And my question is it easier to call and make your team believe in your calls when you rotate first? You know how, like, you're the general that doesn't hide behind the line, but he's kind of going in front with the sword, Aragon style, saying, running into his opponents first? Is that like, do the teammates go like, oh my god, IVEL is so cool, one day I'll be as cool as him, and then they look up to you, or do they go, oh no, now the idiot started moving again? Like, how does it work?
I usually go first because I feel more confident going first and risking my own life than my teammates' life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where what it's all about. I think.
Also, as you said earlier, the whole thing, I mean, even though it sounds ironic, then losing the IGL as the first player isn't necessarily always bad. Because you like having the overview, right?
I can handle taking, like, but I also, like, I trust, like, I don't know, I trust my teammates to do it as well, but Vasco is not that great at scouting.
Mm.
And he's usually also not the first one to go. But like Ark and me will always usually be the two first to go and scout.
Does it come down
Now,
being good scout to you? Does that come down to the core aspect of being good driver, or is it more of a, I guess, spotting out, getting info and stuff?
more, like, Ark is the worst driver in our team.
That's good. That's fair. That's fair. That's how it is. That's how it is.
But Ark is the worst player. He also is the
He's
one
the
that
worst
always,
player. Okay, that's
not player, like driver. So,
worst driver. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Trashtov has a question here as well. Will you guys ever have an analyst, or do you think that it would damage the mindset and not help? Or does he think that a different view of the game would also help the playstyle? That's a lot of questions in one. But I think the overall question is, would you think having an analyst would benefit the team, or do you think it would put it off that it's someone with maybe another mindset than what you have as an IGL?
I think it's useful to have a good analyst that asks the right questions.
And what?
That can make the team think itself. He has something set in his mind, like the analyst has something in his mind that he wants to ask the players, but he's gonna form the question like, not is you did this. Why did you do that? That's not the right question.
That's not a question.
How?
Really.
Like,
I'm just kidding.
it is because you.
I know. I'm just kidding.
But like forming it, like saying, could you? How could you have changed this game? Like, what could you have done more right in that situation? Why did you start doing that? Like start some thought process at the players, so they eventually also will be helping forming the answers. I don't know, for the team.
Makes
That's
sense.
also why I'm a big believer of having everyone on the team help call out.
Yeah.
I'm not the set leader, but everyone in the team has some sort of leadership in the team and feel like they can form the way we move around. And but I think it's helpful to have analysts, but he needs to have somewhat experience.
And it has to be somewhat of a synchronization with the analyst and the IGL. Not that you have to agree on everything, but as you said yourself, in the end, it's the player's job to do it, not the analyst.
I've been doing the work myself since I started Spet Gaming, right? So
when you're asking when will you get an analyst, is when will we get picked up? That's the same question. Is that it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but Yeah, you get what I mean.
Yeah, there was actually a question way closer in all of this that I had to skip because we were in the middle of talking about something else. But let me just see if I can find it real quick. Shap, he asked right in the beginning of the talk, does Zoekt Een Naam have a coach, and who is it? And if they have the one, then for how long have they had him or her, I guess? Do you have a coach in Zoekt Een Naam?
The way it's been since I joined, I did the replays and stuff. So I've also been educated a coach myself in floorball, which is nothing to do with this, but coaching
It's
is
still
coaching.
people moving around, you know. That's micromanagement, I guess, is aspect of it.
So I have somewhat a knowledge about it. Also, Trisha was helping us a lot before PL to do. He would always go through the games with us and ask the question, "Why did you do this? Why did you do this? Why didn't you do this?" And that kind of pushed us to have an answer and think through why we did it, right? And then you actually have a reasoning behind it.
Makes
Even
sense.
though if he didn't listen, he just watched the game and then he will ask it after. Then he also would understand the process about.
Makes sense. So final question, I think, because we've just hit the 1 hour mark. Aklip asks, so would you rather, as Zoekt Een Naam, play in the center but with insufficient equipment, or play on the edge with hard shifts? And then I guess good equipment. Would you rather be center but have crap gear, or be on the edge with good gear?
Depends on the circle, where it is, and how we're in the circle.
But
if you have a circle that's like good on, for example, Pushinki, we would always push two guys to a good position with not that great gear, and then we will have two guys still loot, and then we'll swap them after a while if the one guy gets really good gear, and then can support it up.
Exactly, and as Thursha says, new crap gear is not really a thing anymore, especially not when you land Pachinki. It's not gonna be that. I mean, even with that said, I don't know. I think to a certain extent the faceit loot settings are what the new settings will be. Not completely, but it's a bit different, but not too much different. I mean, even with the faceit settings, that's even more loot. I still can get crap loot sometimes, so it's not a guarantee to good loot. But of course,
how good you are.
Yeah, I'm just bad at picking up the right things. That's what it is. When I see an AR and I don't pick it up, it's that's true.
I want more questions. I like the questions.
You like the questions?
Yeah, I like the question section.
Right now, it's just statements. Broxar is saying you're his favorite floorball coach. That's not really a question, but nonetheless, I think we've hit the time of how long we should make this, because people on YouTube, they want to be able to watch it or listen to it, whatever they want to do as well. So I would like to thank you so much, IVEL, for being the guinea pig or the test bunny in what I hope to be a good series of team breakdowns. I hope that this maybe can inspire doesn't have to be IGLs or captains or whatever, just people that want to come in and talk about their team and get a chance to show the world how they like to do it. Hope that it can motivate some of you to do that. And for anyone else, maybe if there's an org owner sitting out there saying, oh my god, this guy's actually pretty smart, who knows, maybe IVEL's getting an email this afternoon saying, hey, we're Fnatic, we would like to pick up a PUBG team. So you never know. You never know who might be watching from the lurks of the internet. But thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. I'll be
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you so much for wanting to join in. I'll be doing normal stream in just a few minutes after this. So if you want, you can stick around. If not, then you can go do whatever you want to do on this mighty fine Thursday, last day of January. Time sure goes by fast. Holy cow. But thank you guys so much, and until next time, stay tuned on Twitter. Jump onto you can do !guest. Jump over and follow IVEL. He's a great guy. Had the pleasure of meeting him. Good fellow. So he deserves a follow from you if you don't already do follow him. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and